Hey, folks, it's Dave back here in a chilly Studio B. Not as chilly as in, like, chili con carne. Chilly as in cold chili. Temperatures dropping out of the sky after we had that snow. And, yeah, so I spent part of the morning shoveling and clearing it away. Luckily, it wasn't that bad. I think me and Al, Red Sox fan, got about the same amount of snow. My buddy in Connecticut got a lot less, so I'm pretty sure Mike down in Connecticut got a lot less too. But so yeah, so just kind of jumping on here tonight. But so between shoveling and snow blowing and doing everything today, I just ran out of time. Didn't play anything, and tonight now it's like, oh man, I'm too tired to play anything. But I wanted to come on tonight and talk about a couple of things here, all good things. I'm gonna leave the negativity behind. It's been kind of following me around, if you will. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about. Well, what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about expanding your horizons, coming out of your comfort zone, things like that. And I posed a question on our Patreon to our supporters of the show, and I was like, do you guys ever play new games or new seasons or anything like that? Or are you kind of, dialed into one particular game and you like that and you don't want to play anything else? It was kind of all over the place. Some people say, like, I got my favorite game, why would I change? And other people are like, well, if something new, I might try it. And other people say, geez, I like to try everything that I can get my hands on, And so I was interested to see, what you guys think about that. Not only different games, also different sports, okay, maybe different seasons, things like that. So I was wondering what you did about that as Jeff comes by here. There we go. There is Jeff. And it looks like I'm going to be sticking with this EV Mux thing, by the way. I've been playing around with it a little bit more. That's why I'm coming on tonight, too. I'm going to kind of jump on and kick some things around. I like it for the chats and things like that. And it allows you to record, so we can record the podcast. So I think I'm going to go with this. I won't have a choice in a couple of days because once my 7 days is up, they're putting a big chunk of my credit card, so I better like it, right? Oh, boy, I know. What can you do? But anyway, yeah, so why I was thinking about that tonight and why I asked the Patreon people about, expanding, I don't say it was expanding your horizons or whatever it is, or stepping out of your comfort zone, trying something new. I think the thumbnail I created was a guy stepping out of a time machine back into a baseball stadium, because that's kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of stepping a little further back in sports time than I'm used to. That my comfort zone is 70s, 80s, early 90s. That's where I'm most comfortable, and that's what I enjoy playing. And, of course, Bobby Orr and the whole bit. But I'm finding myself sitting here, like tonight, I was sitting here tonight having dinner and I was watching YouTube, and I'm watching a lot of older seasons. Not so much like this, not so much like newer seasons of the 2010s or the 20s to 2010 or anything like that. But I'm going back into the 60s now. And I'm watching some seasons, late 60s to be fair. And I'm watching a lot of AFL games, and I'm watching a lot of Major League Baseball games and learning about, the 60s and the merger and things like that. And I'm trying to learn someone to play. It's just to think about playing some older seasons than I normally would. And it's been kind of fun. I got to say that it's been very enjoyable, just sitting there on my iPad and looking at the old seasons and the old teams, and trying to find some guys I might know and might be able to relate to and think about playing them in a project or a one-off or whatever it is. And it's been kind of fun. I got to say that it's been enjoyable, and even though I really haven't bought a lot of those seasons yet, I did buy 69 for baseball, and what was the other one I bought? There was another one I bought that was 84 for that project there, which is just a smidge out of my range. Both are just a smidge out of my wheelhouse. But I thought about, just a little bit on each side, and I'm like, okay, maybe come over here, and, and try to expand that a little bit. But I am really of course, we all enjoyed teams and the games we play, but, do you guys ever do that? Do you ever just step out of your comfort zone and try something different? It doesn't have to be drastically different, but it's something that you wouldn't play. Maybe you're not a hockey guy. Maybe you try a hockey game. Or me, I knew once I get into baseball, it'd be fun because there's so many baseball games. That's the thing. what do we say? Bernie says what? There's 100 baseball games that we could play. So there's 100 baseball games. So in hockey games, it might be what, 20 or 30 if we're lucky. And basketball. I don't know how many basketball are out there, but there's a lot of football too, which is kind of fun. But baseball is the big one. Everybody makes a baseball game, and it's kind of fun doing that. But I was asking the Patreon people, how do you guys handle like when a new game comes out? Hey, we got this new game. Someone created a new game. Do you like to play it, or do you like, well, no, I'm all set. I got my game and I'm all set. Do you even want to look at it? Do you want to try it? What if you really liked it? That's kind of how I was with a few new games. Is I thought I was all set. I'm like, nope, I got my game and I'm all set. And I tried some of these other games. I'm like, now, and some of them weren't new. Okay, some of them weren't brand new. Some of them were just new to me. Okay, for example, like the Solitaire Pro Football. That was new to me when I first started playing, and it's been out a while, but that's new to me. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I tried this game because I really like it. There's the APBA football. It's been around a long time, but it was new to me, so I'm glad I tried it because I really like it. And then you get the brand new games. The season ticket baseball, season ticket football. They're brand new, and I play them, and I really like them. And as soon as I thought I was like, okay, that's it. I don't need any more games. I got the game I want to play. Somebody develops a game that just resonates with me. And it's like, boy, I'm glad I played it because this is, it might not turn into my favorite game, but it's something I'm going to want to play. And it's something that there's reasons why I will play this game versus something else, for a nice change of pace or just, as I talk about, every game does something a little different, at least as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes it's like you look forward to doing that one thing. So you get game A, B, and C. You mostly play game A, and then it's game B. But game C does something that the other two don't do. And you're like, I'm really in the mood for game C because it does this. And I want to play this tonight in this way. And these two games will not give me what I need over here, if that makes any sense. And so sometimes that's why I like to jump around and play different games because they do different things. Like I like shootout hockey. It does a lot of things that I really like. Stone Cold hockey, even though it's very similar, it's different enough that it does some things that shootout doesn't, and sometimes I want that. And sometimes, I want the things that shootout does versus Stone Cold. So I like to try different things, and you know me, I get on something, and this is how I've always been. Even when I did video games, I would be on point with one game for like ever. It felt like forever. And then all of a sudden it would just drop like a stone and I'd go on to the next game and I'd be on that forever. And just when I find something I like, I just play, I squeeze all the juice out of it that I can. And then at some point it's like, okay, I need to play something different because I've been playing so much of this. But I get into my modes, and you guys have seen that over the last 5 or 6 years. I get into a mode and I really get on a game and I really like it. And then all of a sudden I'm on a different mode and I'm on a different game. And then I'll circle back to the ones I had already played before. So it's really kind of fun. So I just sitting here tonight and I was like, I wonder if you guys ever like look to expand your horizons, try different games, different seasons, things like that, different sports. Like I said, I come in from a hockey perspective and now I'm really digging all the baseball games. I really am. It's been kind of fun. And so that was I'm just kind of throwing that out there tonight because I was really having fun watching this 1969, the 1970 football highlights and, learning about the merger and the AFL. And again, that's stuff that I just didn't really know. Just didn't know enough about, as a kid and growing up. It just wasn't my thing. I knew of it, but I didn't know like how it all happened. So learning about when the merger happened and, and the teams that went into the AFL division, then it's like no wonder why, Baltimore was winning championships because they were basically in. It's kind of like if you took, Montreal or Boston and put them in with the expansion teams from '67. It's like they would just win that division because they were just a better team. So that's kind of how it started. So that's why the Jets was a big deal. I didn't realize how big of a deal the Jets were to win that game over Baltimore because that was the first time an AFL team had won anything, in that since that merger. And it was always, Green Bay beating the Chiefs and Green Bay beating, the Raiders or whoever it was. And so when the Jets won and then the Chiefs won, that was kind of a big deal because it was again, it's kind of the expansion teams winning. And it's something I didn't realize, I didn't realize how all that kind of unfolded and what happened. I just didn't know how it went down. It's almost like if the WHA came to the NHL and you got the Edmonton Oilers in 3 seasons winning the cup. It's like, holy cow, how'd that happen? that was another league that was supposed to be that good. But so anyway, just kind of kicking that around tonight. Again, I was having a fun time having dinner, looking on the iPad and searching old seasons, and again going back to the Pro Reference site and looking at old baseball seasons and old football seasons. It's like, would I like to try this season? Who's in this season that I would like to play? Things like that. Jeff says 84 is his favorite season, and not coincidentally, I was 12 years old that year. Yeah, that's probably why I like the 77 and 78. I wasn't quite 12 yet, but Jeff also says, honestly, Cards and Dice was out of my comfort zone a year ago, and I didn't know how I would react. It's been extremely gratifying. It's like food. You got to try it. You just might enjoy it. Yeah, that's the point I was trying to bring across when I was playing that master game that turned into a 16-12 slugfest. I just wanted to show that if you haven't tried the master game, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. Yes, there's some math, there's some extra checks, there's some things you got to do beyond the basic game. But I think people are so dialed into that basic game, how it's like go, 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 and it produces good results, and you play it fast, and that's what they're used to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the master game is, I really like it. I went back and played a game of basic the other day, and it was okay, and then I went back to the master game, and I tend to sink my teeth into it more. It's just, do I want to wolf down a quick burger, or do I want to sit and cut open a steak? Is kind of how that works for me right now. And if I'm in a hurry, then I'm going to want to suck down the burger real quick, or a couple of burgers. But, if I have the time and I want to just enjoy the game, I really like what the Master Edition of APBA does. And that's what I was kind of showing people is that, it's really not, it's not difficult. There's just things you got to look at and things you got to check. Sometimes you go a couple innings, you don't play anything master. Sometimes it's just straight basic the entire way, until some things start to happen, And I really, though, there's some things I really like about that. And I'm glad I tried it because I really like how the pitcher ratings is now numbers, and it can go up or down drastically depending who you're facing. Like Rusty Kuntz, when he's facing, when he was facing a righty, he was minus 15. So you're adding 15, and the ratings go from 1 to 30. So when he's facing, I think it was a righty, you're adding 15. You're adding half the chart. So the pitcher by default is going into the better half of the chart when you're facing Rusty Kuntz. If you're going to do a pitcher check, that works out better than ABCD. I think that just works out so much better because each batter is very individual. And there were several times last night in my master game that I needed a 13 to take away a hit, and I kept getting a 12. And I was like, man, if this pitcher was one less or the batter was one more, then I'd be taking away hits. And it was so cool looking at that. It's like, oh, so close every time. So I was just trying to show people that I'm coming out of my comfort zone with the master game because I'm like, man, I would never think to try that. The stigma with APBA Master, forget it. But I tried it, and it's like, boy, this is nothing. There's nothing to it. It really is. It's not hard at all. There's things you got to do and try to remember. And, it's kind of like, with payoff pitch, I never remember to check for the wild pitch. Never, ever remember to look for that 30. I just don't. I don't. And there's a few things with the APBA Master I always forget to check for the drop on the throw. It's just something I do. And every game's like that. But when you do check, and you remember, it's, oh, cool. I remember to check this time, Jeff, what else you got to say here? But master game certainly got me out of my comfort zone. I was a bit reticent. Why using big words? I don't even know what that means, Jeff. Using big words. I was a bit something at first about playing it, but I went for it, and I'm glad I did. I was wondering how you were going to enjoy that. So I remember I got it, and you got it right after me, and you were looking forward to it, and I think you were watching the Tebow videos, and I was kind of wondering, because there's a few people that are trying to play it right now. That's why I've been doing videos, because some people are like, I want to check it out. So I figured if I could show a video on how it plays in the master game and show you that it's almost like a hockey bones. When people are doing the Hockey Bones videos, and I'm watching that, and I'm like, oh man, this is just too difficult. I'll never figure it out. Why do I want to play this? And they kept telling me it's not bad, Dave. It's not bad. Just play the Hockey Bones. And I finally sat down one night and I gave it a fair shake. I was rested. I was fed. Nothing going on. And I pulled out the instructions to Hockey Bones and I read it, and I was like, this is nothing. There's a couple things you got to remember with the red die, and when it comes up as a 6, some special things happen. But aside from that, Hockey Bones just plays easy. There's some math involved in the game, and you got to think. And sometimes I can only do a period or so. Then I do think a lot in that game. But it's easy. And I was like, why all these years? Not all these years, but it was probably over a year or so that I had bought the game and did nothing with it. And then I finally was ready to tackle it. And I was like, Jeepers Creepers, this game it's nothing like what I thought it was. And I think that's the same situation with the Master Edition of APBA. A lot of people have this preconceived notion about what it is, but I think if you sat them down and they played a game or two, they might be like, geez, I kind of like this extra baseball, So, but I'm not really here to talk all about APBA Master tonight, even though I'd like to because I'm enjoying it. I just want to talk about trying some different things. So like I said, I've been going back and I've been looking at that 1969 baseball season that I have, so I need to play some of that. And I originally was just going to play some Pilots game, but the more I look, there's a lot of fun things going on with that season. So I'm pretty sure I could pick out a handful of games, and I would just enjoy the heck out of it. Playing that '69 season, and I got a big showcase coming up at the end of the month, and I'm going to be doing, 14 or 15 games. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm going to be working like a madman. But I already told myself, this is what I'm going to do is, half the money I make on this is all extra work. Half the money I make will go into our checking account to pay bills and get caught up on some things. But I'm going to take some of this money. I don't know if I'll take half, but I'll take some of this money, and I'm going to either buy a new game or buy a season or something like that. And so that's why I'm like, the guy's like, you want any more games? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a bunch of games because I'm thinking, man, I'm going to use this for my gaming budget here, and when the 5 days are up, I'll sleep for 3 days because I'll be exhausted. That's another story. But I was sitting here tonight, and I was pretty excited. Like I say, when I got my last shipment from APBA, I was really excited. I really was. And then when I bought Game Winning Drive, the 77 season, I was excited to get that. I printed out the whole season, and I played a couple games, and I've been having a real fun time with my gaming. And then the whole Master Edition thing started. I was like, oh my gosh, it feels like a whole new baseball game. I don't know if you feel that way, Jeff. But the Master Edition of APBA feels like a completely different game than APBA Basic. It's got this. It's the same kind of feel to it, and it plays very similar to APBA Basic, but it just adds so much to it. It really does feel like a different game. You still have to know how to play the Basic to get to the Master, but I just felt that it's different enough. It's not like, well, I'm just going to add a few things. It's like, no, it's quite different. How it handles, again, not every at-bat, but, depending what the role is, sometimes you're checking the pitcher, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're checking the fielder, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're checking to see where the ball was hit, sometimes you're not. And to me, I enjoy the heck out of that. It does feel like a completely different game. It just feels like a much fuller game. Maybe that's the word, fuller game. Because I like games that have many different outcomes. I don't like a game that gets stale. If it's 2-12 and that's all you got, you're gonna get the same 2-12 results over and over and over. But when you're playing the Master Edition, you look and it's like, okay, especially if this guy's on base, you start reading and it's like it's a hit to left and here's all the numbers. Oh, but if there's 2 outs, then it does something different. And if he's a righty hitter versus a lefty hitter, it's going to go into left field, and that completely changes the at bat. And I like that. So when you get that dice roll with guys on base and you go here, it's not going to be the same every single time. It's going to be different depending on how many outs and, if you're a lefty or righty batter. I enjoy that. It takes more time because you got to read the whole thing now, and it's not instantaneous. So you got to go there and really read through it. But it could be 1 or 2 or 3 different things in that box. And so I like that variety. I do. I like the fact that you can have some different outcomes depending, what batter is hitting, like where they're hitting, left or right, and how many outs. I like it. I do. I really like that. Let's see here. And Jeff says, He said, I've made some mistakes while learning the master game. I keep forgetting to use the drop throws and wild throws shots, but I'm getting better. Yeah, I do too. I completely space out on that too. It's like, I didn't, although I didn't do much stealing last night because of that, the Parrish with his 5 arm. Then the pitcher had a 1 move to first, so that's basically 6 chances. That's one complete, cycle. That takes away your 61 to 66 right off the board. Then you got to go to the runner's speed and whatever he is, and chances are he's not going to be he's not going to be a 35 speed. So you don't have many chances. When you look at so I think it was Jerry Remy was a 23. Well, I'm subtracting 6. So he's got 17 chances out of 36. I'm like, I'm not liking them. And that's my best runner. Parrish is just too good, so I didn't try. I should have rolled the decider die I have over here, just because, like Tebow said, you got to try to steal to get the numbers right. You can't just always throw to your A receiver in football, and you can't always bring in your A pitcher in baseball. You gotta bring in the other guys and try different things to keep the numbers correct. According to Tebow, and I would agree with that. But yeah, I keep forgetting to check that too. But it's something that it will become second nature. And the other thing is I've only played a handful of games of APBA Master, so again, I was getting a lot of flack from people about, it's too difficult and it takes too long. And I played 4 games of the master version. 4. It's not like I played 40 or 400. I played 4. I'm still learning it. I'm still trying to remember the steps. I'm just still trying to follow how it all works. I think I'm doing a good job, but it's so new that you can't look at someone that comes on YouTube and that's learning a game and say, this game takes forever. Look at ID. When ID goes on with the new game, he takes hours to play a game. You're not going to look at that and say, oh, man, this game takes 2.5 hours to play. No, it doesn't take 2.5 hours to play. He's been learning it for 2.5 hours and chatting with people and going through the rule book and showing you how it works. It's been a 2.5 hour, game tutorial, if you will, rather than just him playing the game. Yeah, but so, again, that's just kind of what goes on with things. So I'm hoping to do that. David C. coming by. There we go. Good evening, David and chat. D2D and other channels have certainly pushed me to try other games after watching videos and discussing in Discord. Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree. And I like to see other people playing things, too. Like, it made me feel good when I saw Jeff and a couple other people playing APBA Master, because it's almost like, okay, I know there's a few people that are going down the same path as me right now. We're all learning the master game, and we can maybe kind of learn from each other and give each other encouragement. So if I find an easy way to do something, I'll let you know. And sometimes Jeff will say, hey, here's a suggestion. And, Dwayne Marks, who's been playing a ton of APBA Master, he's there to kind of say, don't forget this. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. So it's been a little bit of everybody kind of chipping in and filling in as I get on this journey here, And, yes, you're the introvert. Now, please tell us more. Yep, too funny. Cleveland baseball fan comes by, and he says, good evening, everyone. Does the master game use more of the pitcher card? Seem that was one of the downsides of the basic game the pitcher's mostly uses. Yes, that is one of the big things that happens in the game. So, in a nutshell, instead of being A, B, C, or D, the pitcher now is rated from 1 to 30. With most being, between 7 and 15 or something like that. And then the batters are rated for lefty-righty. So if you got a righty pitcher and he's facing a batter, you look on the batter's split results on this card, and if it's a negative number, that's good for the pitcher. So now the pitcher's rating goes up that amount. So if you got a pitcher with a rating of 7 and the batter coming up against the righty, he's a -3. You add that to the pitcher. So now the pitcher's a rating of 10 against that batter. So every batter could be different. And then the pitcher can go up and down. His rating can go up or down depending on how the game goes. Again, he gives up a lot of runs, the ratings come down. In typical APBA fashion, if he goes a long time without giving up a run, it goes up. But I like is every single batter's different. So you got, Fred Lynn coming up, but he might be a +5. So that 7 now goes down to a 2. It's not a very good rating against Fred Lynn, but against someone else, like Rusty Kuntz from Detroit. I think when he faces a righty, he's a -15, which is terrible. So Bob Stanley went from a 7, I think he was, to a 22. which is almost at the top. 30 is the best you can do. So Bob Stanley's an A pitcher against Rusty Kuntz because that's how bad he was against righties. So, yeah, the pitcher comes in big time with the master game, big time. And it's so to me that's like the first thing. Then there's the stealing. Again, I don't want to get on the whole APBA master list because that's not what I want to talk about. But I'm trying a new game. It feels like a new game. And I'm rather enjoying it. And I just wish I had more time. Again, hockey season's tough for me because I have 3 games. 3 games I'm supposed to be checking out, and I haven't got to any of them. 2 of the people we're going to have on, so they're going to hopefully we'll find some time, in the next month or 2, and they'll walk me through it. I just don't want to bring somebody on if I don't have the time to give them. I want to give them a fair shake with their game here on the channel. And actually, there's 4 people we're supposed to get on, maybe 5 to come on and show their game off here live on here and on the podcast. So that's going to be the thing this year. We're going to do some more live things with the developers and show off the games and the whole bit. So I have that, and there's just so many games that I have sitting in my email box I just haven't got to yet. And it's just because I need to give them the fair shake. I don't want to. I've tried that before in the past. Where I've tried to half arse it, so to speak. Okay, let me just get this game out of the way, and I try to rush it, and it's like, nope, I don't want to do it. And that's not fair to the game, and it's not fair to the developer who sent me the game to check out. Is if I don't have the full time and the full attention to give it, I'm not going to like it. So I really need to do what I did with Hockey Bones, and just say, okay, I have nothing going on tonight. Everything's okay. The wife's in bed. It's all quiet around here. I'm going to read the directions and really give it the time to absorb it. So that's what I need to do. D. Scott coming by. And he says, hello, everybody. I think the YouTube channels have saved me from buying games, as I can see how they work, which satisfies my curiosity. Yeah, there's good and bad to that. I mean, back in the day when I first started playing, there wasn't a lot of videos out there. And so sometimes I would buy a game just to check it out. I would. I wouldn't spend a ton of money on it. But I bought a lot of games back in the day because I was like, okay, what does this game do? Ooh, what does this game do? And sometimes, yeah, you watch a video and you're like, that ain't for me. But you know something? I've watched a lot of videos on a bunch of games that I thought I would never like. And it turns out I like them a lot. So once you get them on your table, it's a lot different than watching somebody on YouTube. It really, really is. It's like someone can describe to you a movie all day long or a book. But when you sit down and read that book for yourself, you watch that movie for yourself, you get the full experience. And it's just, it's nothing like, someone describing it to you. And the biggest example of that is the Play Golf, the History Maker Golf. I watched a ton of videos on that. It sparked my interest enough that I ordered it, but I didn't have any hope that I'd like it, and it was so good. That History Maker Golf is so good, and none of the videos anybody did it justice, and it's not their fault. It's just one of those games you really need to play and feel and watch it progress in front of you on the table. That's what you need to do with that one. And there's been a handful of games like that just, until you've played it, you don't know how much fun it is. Oh, back to Jeff over here. Master Games feels much different than Basic. Yeah, that's kind of what I get out of it. Ebbs and flows more like an actual baseball game. Takes you an hour to play, but you have so much fun. I haven't timed myself, Jeff. Again, I was trying to do that last night when I put the overhead view and said, okay, guys, just watch me play. I'm not going to interact all that much. Just watch me play the Master Game, and let's see how I do. Again, it's only my 5th game, so I'm still learning it, and I'm still enjoying checking all the hits and all the numbers. Like I did last night to hit the left. I'm not going to go to left. I'm not going to go to third. My runner on first is going to stop at second. But out of curiosity, what are my chances? So I tend to do a lot of that, and that takes up a lot of time too. So the people who played it a lot longer than me will just not do that, and they'll save that step, and they'll save that time. So there's a lot of things I do that are completely unnecessary. Not because I'm still learning the game, and I'll develop my own groove and my own pattern to look to see who's in the outfield and look at the outfielder arm and say, yep, I'm not even gonna do the math, and it's other times that, it'll be the other way. Oh, the outfielder's arm's weak. I got a 62. The outfielder's a 22. It's like I'm scoring no matter what. It's an automatic score on that one. So I just need to kind of develop a groove for it. But it's a different game. It does take longer. I really do I just like it myself. So what do we got here? Uh-oh. Um, and Professor Kenny says the master game of app is awesome. Like anything, it takes time and fluid to be fluid with it. Yep, it does. Oh boy, I gotta hang on one second here. I gotta refresh my screen. Oh boy, I gotta Jeff, your comment's kind of stuck on my screen here, and I don't know if I can refresh this without losing the broadcast. It's so funny. It just there it is. It's gone now. It just kind of popped up on my screen. I got it to go away. Not that I don't mind reading your comment, but it was just kind of in the way. So yeah, so again, yes, the professor says the master games. I find people either love it or they hate it, but never even played it. There's a couple of guys I saw do videos that fought it, and they were like, "This is a waste of my time," and maybe it is. But I think the people that think it's a waste of the time are the people that have just playing the APBA basic for years and can rip through a game in 10 or 15 minutes. And when they got to stop and slow down and do a lot more checking on things, and things aren't committed to memory, because let's face it, some of those boxes there that you look up the results for, and they're pretty packed with information. You got to dig in through there to see what your situation is to get the result. Whereas in basic, people have memorized practically the whole empty men on nobody on baseboard. It's just memorized. So I think that's where the frustration comes in, because it's not the basic game. It's very different. So that's why I think people get frustrated with that. Let's see over here. Jeff's back over here, and he says, I'd like to do some videos on the master game on my channel. Focus will be on how to play the game, but also different strategies. I think that's what it comes down to, is that someone put it well. It's really a better head-to-head game because of the decisions you have to make. You have to decide, am I going to try to take the next base? If so, what's the fielder going to do? So you are playing against yourself. And that's kind of hard to do. And that's kind of like one of the things about strat hockey. When I try to play strat hockey, I'm playing against myself. Do I want to penetrate? I'm looking at the defenseman. He's a good defenseman. Oh, do I want to try to penetrate? Okay, I will. And the defenseman, do I try to intimidate? So you're thinking for both sides. So you're playing against yourself, which is not easy sometimes. But as long as you're fair, like Ron says, just be fair about it. And if you're fair, then you're good to go, and just enjoy the game. Enjoy it for what it is, and that's why, if you want to, play a computer game, that's when you can really play against, the computer and have some fun with that. But I've been really enjoying my time with the APBA Master. I really am looking forward to playing some of these other games that I have that unfortunately I just haven't been able to get to. The thing is, guys, if you guys want me to check out a game, you send it to me in June, because then I get June, July, August, and half of September that is no hockey really. It's really downtime. I have a lot of time. From September to March, it's I can be on the go. Like I said, I went from September to Thanksgiving without a day. I'm mid-September to Thanksgiving without a day off, so I didn't get to do much at all. I was lucky to get the podcast in. So that's when they sent me the games. And like I say, so if anybody's reading this, watching this, that sent me something, it's just I want to make sure I have the time to check out the game properly, is what it is. And in busy season, I just don't have that. And Jeff says he wants to try out some Action PC. I almost played the football game tonight. I really did. I almost played some Action PC football here tonight. And I was like, I just was too tired to play. So I said, let me come on and just chat, because I was having fun watching my 1969 and 1970 football highlights. I still don't know if I'm going to get one of those seasons or not. I should probably get it for game-winning drive and kick it around, see if I like it, before I go commit to a bigger season of something. I don't know did I get it in season ticket football? I don't know if I did or not, because I got a bunch of their seasons too. Let me see. Jeff back here, he says, the master game definitely uses the pitcher card a lot more. Box while pitchers holding runners, etc., and each batter is unique. An A pitcher could be a D pitcher to one batter. Yeah, that's what I really like about it. That's well said. Again, Bob Stanley was an A pitcher facing Rusty Kuntz. That was awesome. There's just so many little things that happen that it's just awesome in that game. Excuse me. Like that the football game we played the other day, the Baltimore Detroit from '77, and I just kept fumbling the kicks every time I'd go to punt. Fumble. 17 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Baltimore tries a field goal, fumbles the snap. Detroit goes to punt it away, fumbles the punt. It was just like, so I'm thinking in my mind at that point, that instead of getting frustrated, I was just like, well, it must be a rainy day in Baltimore and the ball's slipping through hands, or it's a freezing cold day in Baltimore and nobody can hang on to it. And so, again, I just started to use my imagination because it was really kind of being a bummer of a game. But then I was like, well, maybe the elements have kicked in, and that's why, we keep missing all these field goals. And I think we missed an extra point, a 27-yard field goal, and then another field goal was it went right through the hands of the holder. So it was quite funny. It really was, and I just kind of worked around that. I did. Mr. P-Jet coming by. Good to see you, bud. Hope things are going well with you. Enzo comes by. Hi, Enzo. He says, I like the New York Mutuals game. We have a vintage baseball league here, and that's their name. Nice. He goes, he played in the league, and it was fun. Never thought we can APBA it. Maybe try it. But yeah, I bought that season was that the Chris White season, 1871, when I played New York Mutuals in the Fort Wayne Kiki Kanga, something like that. S.D. Patrick sent me the pronunciation of those so I could try to get it right. The Kiki Kangas, So, but that was I don't know how much of that I'll play because it's such a weird style. I don't know much about it. But it was fun to get those weird teams out on the field. Again, that's probably my favorite thing about the hobby. Me personally, is I like playing the weird teams, the teams that don't exist anymore. The team, the Seattle Pilots. They don't exist anymore, and the California Seals and the Kansas City Scouts and all the teams that used to be that aren't anymore. I enjoy playing those teams. And so when I find a season that's got some weird teams, it's like, oh, this could be kind of fun, and just play a team that's it's not New York Yankees or Boston Bruins. It's something that's really kind of weird. So I like that. And Carter Historical jumps on here. Good to see you. He says he's comfortable enough doing his PC games. He doesn't care about the amount of views as long as people stop by and say hello. Yep, I agree with that. Again, just be nice. You just got to be nice to each other. You don't need to go into somebody's stream and cause problems and give somebody flack. Just go in like the person said here the other night, and I forget who it was. They come on and said, when I go onto somebody's YouTube channel, I feel like I'm kind of peeking through the window watching them play a game. And that's what we're doing. We're inviting you into our basement or wherever we play, and you get to watch how we play it. And to sit there and get mad about what we do or how we do it, that's not what it's about. It's about just sharing, getting together. Let's chat. Let's talk about a game. Let's have a good time playing this hobby that tonight, after a couple of days of just negativity, I was back having fun tonight researching my next project and my next game I want to play. I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of projects. I'm going to be doing a lot of games because I like going back. And again, this is the year I want to go back and pull out my teams and my seasons, my different games. And I want to get things on the table. It really is. It's about using things now. It's not about, all right, well, I'm going to play the whole 1977 season with the Dallas Cowboys. No, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So let me play a couple of Cowboys games. How about that? That'll be fun. And then I don't have to worry about keeping stats or standings. I could just enjoy the teams, enjoy the game, enjoy the players, and see how it goes. Let me pull out the Pilots from '69 and just play some games. I want to have them go into Fenway Park. I want to have them play the Yankees. I've been listening to Jim Bouton's book there, and while I was snowblowing this morning, and it's kind of fun listening to him go through the season. So maybe I'll find one of his games he talks about and go back and play that. I want to play the Padres, when they were new, the Royals when they were new, the Expos. I love the expansion teams, things like that. The Expos aren't even around anymore, so they're twice as fun to play, the Expos. And so I was really enjoying things today, like looking through the seasons I got, saying, oh, I'm going to play this and I'm going to play that, and also looking towards some new games and new seasons that I want to do too. And Jeff says, Basic kind of jumped the shark when Tom Seaver got thrown out trying to steal. In the Master game, he has an N rating. I can see that, Jeff. Yeah, I can see that. How I've had that happen in a game before, and I was completely soured. And I hear you on that. what game was it I was playing? I was playing something, and something happened, and it soured me, and it soured me on the game, and it soured me it soured me on all kinds of things. So yeah, I get that. Todd B, I should play some USFL. Yeah, I think I want to. I think I want to do that. I just got to find out where I want to play it in. And Carter Historical says they have the USFL in 2nd and 10. Oh, I should check that out. Yeah. And Jeff says Boughton invented Big League Chew. Oh, I didn't know that. I remember the the guy with the cap like this, or he had the 2 fingers going or something like that, and he had the thing in his mouth with the gum. Yeah, I remember that. I don't think I ever got it. I probably tried it, but it was just so. Yeah, it was so something or other. It was just too much sugar in it or whatever it was. But I shredded bubble gum. It was supposed to be like mimic the something or other. Yeah. Does Action PC have a USFL season? I'm not 100% sure. I think so. I might even have one. Let me go. Let me check it out. Let me go to the store. Let me go to football seasons. And what was that? 80s? I'm not seeing it here. Oh, wait. Yeah, he does. 83, 84, 85 USFL. So, yeah. So you could get it in Action PC if you wanted to. I don't know if I have that season. I would have to look that up. Maybe I can check it real quick before I jump off. I didn't want to be too late then. So Al just jumped on, so I want to watch Al play some baseball tonight. I have 85 USFL. So yeah, so I guess I could play some of that. Yep. I guess I could play some USFL if I wanted to. I got a lot of the Action PC seasons. So, and let me see here. So yes, they do actually. And if you choose to play existing season, he'll list the 3 USFL seasons. I think it's 83, 84, 85. I don't know how many years they actually played. Oh, you meant 2nd and 10. Oh, I see. I think it's all included, right? I think that's included in 2nd and 10. I could be very wrong, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to jump on tonight. Do you guys like to try different things? Do you like to try different games, different seasons? I don't know why I'm stuck on this 1969 baseball, 1969 football. I have no idea why I'm stuck on that. And I go to Pro Football Reference and Pro Baseball Reference or whatever it is, and I'm just clicking on the teams and looking at the players and looking at the schedule, And yeah, so it's I'm kind of expanding my comfort zone. I'm kind of happy about that. It gives me more seasons and more games to play. So anyway, I'm gonna go jump out. Al's playing some APBA baseball tonight, so I'm gonna go and say hi to Al and kind of get to bed early tonight. I got a busy week ahead of me. I think I'm working 7 or 8 days in a row again, and that's before the showcase. So I think I got 3 weeks without a day off coming up. There we go. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you like playing different games, different seasons? Have you ever played something out of your comfort zone? A sport, a team, a season? Let me know as we try to continue to have some fun here in the hobby. I'm Dave. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.